Hello, let's start the installation of Tomcat 7. New. Tomcat 7 is being installed as of now. It's almost getting done. The download is done, it's being installed. The home directories have been created. Tomcat 7 has been installed. Now we need to create a key to access the server. Let's create a key using key tool. Let's keep the key size at 4 megabytes. That's 4096 bytes. We need to generate a key with the alias Tomcat, and the algorithm that we're using is RSA, and we're going to store the key as let's keep the organization as ASE. The organization is ASU CTB PHX Arizona. Keep it US. Let's say let's keep the same password for Tomcat as well. So we press return. Now let's copy the key into Tomcat 7's folder. It has been moved. Now let's try to change the server.xml file for Tomcat. We do it by changing the configuration file of Tomcat, which is stored in this folder. We need to modify the port, the connection port. This is the one. The port is 8443. The protocol is HTTP with SSL enabled and TLS as the secure socket layer protocol. And this is where the key store has been placed, and this is our password. Let's save this file, close it. Now let's install the CAS server from disape. Do it through webget. The link is downloads.jasig.org CAS. The version is 3.5.2.1. It's quite a large file. It's almost done, and we need to unzip the file after the download. And copy the WAR file into Tomcat's folder. The download is done. Let's now unzip. Now let's copy the .war file into Tomcat's Active Directory by this command. It's been copied. Now let's restart the Tomcat server. As you can see, Tomcat has been stopped once and started again. Now let's try to forward port 443 to port 8443. using IP tables. Pre-routing a port on Ethernet 0, protocol TCP from port 443, we're jumping to port 8443. That's been done as well. Let's now examine if the CAS server is up and running. This is the link. As you can see, the central authentication service is running. I've actually logged in as CAS user, which is the default user. Let's now install the lightweight directory access protocol server. And the utilities. Actually, it has to be apt-get install. Let's keep the same password. Let's now reconfigure the server. Let's go ahead with the automatic configuration. Now the domain name has to be localhost.slapd, which is stored as a two-step domain name. Again, these values can be anything. Again, both of the options are correct. We don't want to store the old databases since this is the initial configuration. Let's go with yes. This step can be yes or no. We'll go with yes for now. Let's set this option as no, since we have the newer version. So the server has been reconfigured. Let's restart. Now let's restart the SLAPD service. Has been restarted. Let's see if our configuration has been implemented. The default settings are being displayed right now. Now let's make a custom import and create a directory tree. I have created a file which has the necessary settings in it, as you can see. Now let's try to import this file into the server. Let's first stop the SLAPD service. Now that's been stopped. Let's try to add the file into SLAPD. As you can see, it has been successfully copied. Let's now restart the service. Service has been started again. Now let's see if the file has been imported. Cn equals example. These are the settings that have been stated in the file that we just imported, and we're just seeing if the changes have been reflected at the server. As you can see an example has been there. You can see the base as well. Now let's install Apache 2 server. This is done on the web server client. Yes, Apache 2 is being installed. Let's edit the configuration file to include localhost as a server. Now that's done. Let's restart the service. Now let's see if localhost acts as one of the servers for Apache 2. So the default page of Apache 2 is being displayed currently. That means the localhost has been added as one of the servers. Now that we're done with Apache 2, let's install MySQL Server as well. Now this installs both MySQL Server and MySQL Client. Now it requires us to enter a strong password. Password has been set. The process is being started. Now let's see if MySQL server has been actually started or not. We're trying to get the status. As you can see here, MySQL is running at process ID 9568. Now let's see more details on it. This is the same password that we entered during the configuration. As you can see, this is the MySQL command. You can use this to run your MySQL queries. Now that we're done with installing MySQL, let's now get PHP as well. Now let's add a PHP page that displays the PHP information, and let's add it into Apache's directory. Remember, we're creating this file from scratch. It does not exist already. This is a simple PHP function that displays the current PHP information. That is it. Let's save the file. Now let's restart the Apache 2 server. Has been restarted. Now let's see if the function that we just added is being displayed, and let's also test if all Apache PHP and MySQL have been installed. This is the localhost, and this is the function that we just added. This is the PHP file actually. PHP has been installed. You can see all the details in here. You can see the Apache environment, the localhost, the port. You can see the current configuration, the headers, and other stuff. You can see the MySQL socket. MySQL has been installed. Now let's try to test PHP, MySQL, and Tomcat. I've created a file in this path, and this establishes a connection with MySQL. These are the password and the root for MySQL. Now let's try to run that file using Tomcat. The IP of the system is this, or it can just be localhost dbtest. As you can see, the connection works. Now let's install PHP pair. The download is done, it's being installed. Let's move ahead with the next step. And install the client software. Now once this is done, let's try to have the entry in the host file. And add the entry. Since it has a space, let's just use plus there. And let's see if this works. Now let's see if the certificate works and we can log into the login page in CAS. This is the common name, the port number, and this is the path. As you can see, we can log in to the login page in the CAS server. Now let's manipulate the index.php file. It has been downloaded. Let's try to put in our common name into the file. So this can be our common name, which is my first name space last name. Now let's save it. Let's now move this file from the downloads folder to the root directory for Tomcat. Now once this is done, we can now finally conclude this session by viewing this on the browser. Let's close this.